Hello, hello, hello. Happy Easter Monday to everyone. How is everyone doing? Good morning, John. Good morning, Patrick. Thank you for putting in all the news. Sterling, not going to cover that all here. We have Goolsby speaking. Goolsby, very dovish Goolsby, as always. So, we shall see. Yields are rising this morning. Good morning, Jacob. Thank you for. It's all jumbled up in here, Sterling, by the way. That's why I can't post it in any order. I don't know why that happens. Good morning, Mark. Glad. I wish we had a holiday here. I wish we had Easter Monday off. Good morning, Royal Palms. Good morning, PMG. Happy Easter to you too. Yes, and Netflix last week, and that's from last Thursday after the close. It was a beat, and they got it up. Good morning, Heinrich. Good morning, David. All right. Hope everyone who celebrates Easter had a wonderful Easter weekend. And if you didn't, I hope you had a super peaceful weekend. By the way, the Pope also just passed away on Easter Monday. Good morning. So we have that going on too. Hello, Charles. Other than that, things still, unless we get some surprise announcements, things still aren't looking good on the tariff front. China's still digging in their heels. Not much out of the administration here yet. Good morning, Anissa. Yes, you were spot on. Option 22. The double top was triggered in NVIDIA. We will do that today. We'll take a look at that. Good morning, Charles. All right, let's take a look at this week. We have the really quiet day. Consumer Board leading index still expected to be in contraction. Yes, there you go. Thanks. Pope Francis dead at age 88. So time to choose another pope. Very interesting. The Pope died on Easter Monday. All right, but he did get a discharge from the hospital to do the services yesterday. So he made one last commitment to getting those done for Easter, the most holy day of the year for Catholics and Christians. So, all right. Yeah, it's the chip shipment news. So we're gonna see. All right, what else we got going on this week? We got Redbook. We got more Fed speak. Remember, I think the Fed meeting is 16 days away. So they got to get all their speeches in. They got to get them all in this week before it's a Fed quiet period. So we got lots of Fed speaks tomorrow on the Richmond Fed Index. There's not a lot going on this week besides Fed speak. Geez, these guys don't do anything else besides speak. Composite Manufacturing Services, S&P on Wednesday, and the crude numbers, as always, in Fed Beige Book. Thursday, you got durable goods and jobless claims. Friday, you got consumer sentiment to final numbers for April. So that's where we sit. So far today, NVIDIA down with the chip news. All the other mega caps are down. There's your Netflix up still from earnings. Remember, markets were closed on Friday, so we were getting the Netflix reaction today. In terms of groups, let's just do a quick refresh, but it shouldn't have changed. But actually, only basic materials is only positive 19 basis points. Everything else is negative, being led by technology. Fed watch up 16 days, still for a pause in May. Then a cut. 4 cuts priced in the markets this year. I think Citi reiterated that they're seeing 4 cuts. Still in extreme fear. Schiller PE still 32.66. Nowhere near cheap markets yet. What else do we have? What else? In terms of earnings this week, we're starting to get a busy week in earnings. This morning, there's not much. After the close, there's not much again today. But tomorrow we got Verizon, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Halliburton. After the close, we got Tesla tomorrow, SAP. Wednesday, we have Boeing. Remember, trying to put a halt on their planes too. We're going to have to see how their guidance is. AT&T. After the close, IBM, Chipotle. 40 open on Thursday. We got American Airlines, PepsiCo, Intel. So after the close Thursday's big Intel and Alphabet, especially Google Alphabet. And then Friday got ConocoPhillips, Colgate Palmolive, When's Exxon reporting? Because they normally report on that Friday. I'll have to look that up. So, busy week in earnings. Busy week in earnings. All right, bigger picture. So, again, we only hit the first target on the double bottom so far. Still in play. Rotation zone still overhead on the weekly. Cycle still headed down on the daily. We're into a very key area right here. A very key area. Going to be paying close attention because this has been the buying pressure area. We do have, excuse me, a mini potential double bottom. Unless, and that's not talking the bigger one. The bigger one's still in play unless we close below 5,093.25. Paying close attention to this area because there's all the buying pressure back Thursday, Friday, the 10th and 11th, and then even last Wednesday there was slight buying pressure. Paying very close attention. Now the double will be off the table if we trade below 52.21. Not even saying this will trigger. I'm just putting it up there in case something happens. Who knows what could be released? Who knows? It's all going to also be, it's a light week where it's still, everything's going to be around tariff news. Good morning, Mark. Thank you for tuning in. So, we have to still be on high alert. If we can't and we get accelerated, if we get accelerated selling, the key area I'm watching is 51.80. 51.80, that was a spike area from Thursday the 10th and the 50% harmonic. That's going to be very key for me. If we do and we take out the lows from the 10th, then it's going to be that 50.93. Other than that, on any rally, significant resistance around 52.90 on any bounce. Then it's the gap to last Thursday. The gap to last Thursday, let's go off the official settlement price. The gap to last Thursday is 53.1275. All right, so that's where we sit right there. Above that, if something came out shocking, and I'm not just talking today, but as long as this double's not invalidated, then, the next key area would be 53.7125 on a closing basis. Okay, NASDAQ also into the area of buying pressure. Now, the NASDAQ's a lot closer to that key 50% harmonic. Just right around 17,900 is the area I'm watching, 17,900. You do have a mini potential double bottom unless we trade below 17,982.25. Then that will be off the table. Still watching to see if we get any snapback rallies, though, here with the buying pressure. Good morning, Tony. So those are the key things I'm looking to the downside, especially that 17,900. If we do follow through below there, we get a collapse this week. The 17,568.75 on a closing basis invalidates the bigger potential double bottom, not the little mini one, the bigger one, which we've only hit the first target of. Getting closer to the second target in NASDAQ, but not there yet. Also remember, we are against the rotation zones. Talked about that. So, especially that major weekly one. And here's the daily on this. You can see the NASDAQ, every time it's popping into that daily rotation zone, there's selling pressure also. So that's what's key. Daily cycles still getting to the bottom. We could easily pull back more without invalidating this big capitulation double. No, the Pope, that's not going to move the market, Coco. We're just mentioning it because it's an important thing in the world. Not going to move the market, though. The market's not trading off the Pope's death. But it is important to people. So, the Dow, again, first target reached, rotation zone holding, 50% harmonic hold is where we're trading at right now. Also in the key area from Thursday's spike lows. So we start getting through there. The thing that would invalidate the rest of the double on the Dow is 38,370 on a closing basis. There is no little mini double bottom in the Dow. So key resistance on any rally is looking around 39,200, and then to the gap fill from Thursday, which that would be back to 39,329. The Russell, sideways. There's, again, no little mini double or anything in there. We're just sideways. So the key area on the Russell is about 1855, and then you're looking at about 1837. Anything below 1837 has a lot of buying pressure. Now, we've seen this buying pressure on all these markets. If we start getting accelerating momentum into there, all the buyers here in the short term, there's going to be lots of stops down here. So if we start getting accelerating momentum through these tails, that's where we can see accelerating downwards price action on all the markets we just looked at. S&P, NASDAQ, everything. Until that happens, got to be watching to see if the buying patterns hold. To the upside, it's really got to start getting above 1916, and then the next key level is about 1940. The VIX, slightly elevated this morning. Slightly elevated. But if we have to really start accelerating above 34 to get a lot more selling pressure coming in. DAX, still holding the rotation zone, flattening out, and has not hit the target on its sloppy double yet. Not hit the first target. Notes, starting to pull back. Still in this back. Remember, we popped out of consolidation, and we went the other way and back in consolidation, but pressure coming on the notes with selling pressure coming in there and yields starting to climb again on the 10-year. Going to be watching to see how we close in relation to this 4.36, 4.37 area today. Dollar. Now everybody's getting super, super bearish on the dollar, like the dollar's going to zero. Not saying it has to stop anytime soon, but the dollar is getting very, very oversold, very extended. So going to be watching for potential this, not necessarily today, but this week, looking for more substantial bottoming patterns and a potential snapback. This is getting way overdone. Dollar's not going to zero. Crude. We have this sort of sloppy head and shoulders against the rotation zone and has not hit the first target yet. That's the only pattern I'm watching to see if we hold this. It's pulling back to the neckline right now. Again, lower probability you can see here. All the targets are against the daily rotation zone, and the first target's even beyond the major breakdown zone. But you have a fair amount of support at this $60 on any pullback level. So this is a weaker pattern. Well, that's why it's limited supply in gold, and gold is going parabolic. We're getting to that in a second. Gold. I'm also getting very cautious on gold now. It is going, not saying it has to stop, but here's your weekly. It is going parabolic. And the dollar's getting pressure now. This can stop abruptly. And everybody now, it's like the old Tesla and Bitcoin days where Bitcoin's going to, infinity and beyond. Tesla's going to infinity and beyond. Now gold's going to infinity and beyond. Gold will keep going in the short term till it doesn't, but I'm getting cautious. If you're, especially not from a longer term perspective, but from a shorter term perspective, everybody's piling in the gold. So if you're in it from the short term, be careful. And here it is from the monthly. Getting very overextended from the monthly rotation zone. Does it have to stop? Is there a topping pattern? No, there is not. But we're going parabolic, so if we start getting an outside key reversal bar, I'm going to sit up and take notice. Other than that, we're just through this 34.22 harmonic. Next is 34.72, and the next major harmonic is roughly 35.50, 35.46. Copper, which had the double, now hit the second target. So I'm paying attention to the very key final target area just in front of the official double target at that 62.5, the 4.87, 4.87 on a closing basis, but 4.89 on a trade basis. The yen also tried to form a little pattern here, breaking down into a very key support area. I'm going to pay attention to also the yen, which is getting overextended to the downside. Euro breaking out also. Breaking out also. The major support is all the way back to the breakout zone. Again, getting overextended, but no topping pattern in sight just yet. Spiders gapping down here. Get that on. Little gap down. Your very key resistance on any rally. We're trading 520.69. We're trading right just below these dual lows. So that's going to be minor resistance. I'm going to be watching to see if it regains that at the open. If not, the next key support isn't down until about 514. What invalidates the double is a close below 506. Any other play, if we do get some buyers coming in, it's still to the gap fill to last Thursday, 526.41. The Qs trading 437.45. Same thing, just below these key lows from Wednesday. Just below the key lows from Wednesday. So that's going to be first little resistance we get above there on any more substantial rallies. So closing at 444.10. Now, I'm paying attention again. 50% harmonic, 435.16 on continued selling pressure. And then if it breaks down from there, 426.96 on the closing basis. What else? Bitcoin, we had the double within congestion. Nothing still invalidates the final target yet for a rollover play. Coming up, so still in congestion, almost hitting the final target in there. Very key area. Also getting the cycle tops again and very overbought on the good old Bitcoin. Tesla stock has the potential to reach $5. I mean, if it was going to trade like an automobile maker, it theoretically could. But it's Tesla. It, again, weekly. If we rotate back down, the double will be off the table. Remember, earnings tomorrow. Earnings tomorrow on Tesla. But the weekly, this is only a weekly level. Because on the daily, it's now, you have too many bottoms down there. So it would need a weekly close above 291.85. But as I've said, I'm watching for the next breakdown play. With Tesla, next key level for me is 182.37. NVIDIA, which options 22 mentioned. This was the 4-hour double. Triggered on Thursday. And now the key targets on here. This is why I'm also watching for increased pressure to the downside in the short term. 97.31 is the first target there. Then you got 94.60, what is it? 94.57, and then 91.75. It did follow through on Friday with the daily close below that key level also. And it's not below this spike low. It's actually below that 4-hour low. You're bullish on everything except Tesla. All right. Broadcom still has its double, and you can watch this on a daily basis. This little 2-day pause here did not invalidate the pattern. So I'll be looking at Broadcom if it closes below 166.40. We're trading below there right now, but that does not mean we'll close below there. Targets on that are right around 156.50. Then you're looking right around 152 and then 146.48. You're welcome, options 22. Hope you have a wonderful day. So those are the key things I'm paying attention to. There's also, we've got pressure on the mega caps. Again, we got things rolling over. They have not been able to get out of the way of the daily rotation zone. Going to be watching things like this. For Amazon, things like this. It closed below the 62.5. So I'm watching for this to retest the low area and possibly setting up a bigger double pattern. But remember, we bounced off the 87.5. But if this really starts breaking down again, it could get into a disaster. I'm going to be watching, though, for a key major potential bottoming pattern down here, especially if we get a tariff announcement, but nothing yet. So those are the kind of things I'm watching with the mega caps. And if I could type correctly, Apple, I'm actually surprised how well Apple is holding up. But again, Apple in the short term, the key area for me will be 185.61 on a closing basis. That will be very key for me. You're welcome, PMG. All right, that's really about it. Let's just peek in at the S&P. And people are getting very, very bearish, and we still haven't invalidated these patterns. Not saying we can't have selling pressure because of that NVIDIA, but the double patterns will not be invalidated until we close below that 62.5. So I'm also keeping that in mind on any price action coming down. Going to be still watching where we close in relation, not today, but this week, and where we close in relation to that 62.5, and if we set up other potential long snapback patterns. Okay, because overall you have a pretty quiet week instead of like for economic releases, but we don't know what's going to get announced with tariffs. Coco says gold rally will stop at 4K, and it may. Who knows? Don't know. Don't know. All right. Hope everyone has a wonderful trading week, and I will be back tomorrow. Until then, bye for now.